All right. So today we talk about the exams, and before we go to the exam, we would just revise the unit. Uh, so we go through all the content that we learned, right? So we started the unit with big data, the concept of big data. We know that in order to work with data, we need to have a lot of data so that we can have more, patterns that you can extract from data. So normally, before when people have small data sets, so they use technique called sampling to get some data set and use statistical method, right, to analyze the data. So the technique using small data can be very efficient because it can work very quickly, but doesn't give you much practical information, right? So in the era of internet where we have a lot of data, not only from social media but also from other sources like sensor. Using advanced technique, we can process a large amount of data and we can extract more useful patterns for practical use. So in big data, I hope that you can still remember what we learn in big data. Right? So we learn how to process big data, right? Different way to process big data. So we learn how to use like distributed system like the cloud system, cluster system to process a large amount of data. Or you can also use a very strong computer with multiple GPUs to help you to improve the efficiency. Or even if you don't have many CPU, you can use a graphical processing unit, GPU. So normally we use GPU for gaming, right? Actually, we can use GPU for computation as well. So currently, people who work on data science, people are using a lot of graphical cards that you are using for gaming for the work they are doing with the data science. And one technique in big data lectures that we learn, which is MapReduce, which is very important. That is one of the most popular techniques that people are using now today to process a large amount of data. So MapReduce is not an idea; it's uh, a framework that people use, and there are several implementations of MapReduce. It can be Hadoop MapReduce, can be Spark MapReduce. So different company, different organizations, they implement MapReduce different way. So you can use like Java to do MapReduce. Actually, Java is first language has been developed for MapReduce. So that's for Hadoop MapReduce. And you can use Scala, you can use Python for MapReduce as well. All right, so that's about big data. And after you learn what big data is and how to process a large amount of data, then we go to the next lecture about data visualization. So because we know how to process big data, right? So now what we need to do is to show what we found from data. So data visualization is very useful techniques. So if you work for a big company, right, and then you have you have a lot of data, and the manager asks you to give the information from data. You cannot just like bring the whole data and let's say you SQL and then query the data and show to the managers because it's just a raw data. It's hard to convince the manager about the information that you found from the data. So they want to get the information, which is higher level of knowledge from the data, right? So we need to use visualization, right? The visualization is useful tool for for people to understand information inside data. So you can plot the information so that people can see, okay, that is an improvement of the sale, or that is our business is going down because the plot showing that the sales in recent week is going down, etc. So there's different type of visualization. So now you can use plot, right? You can use graph to plot the data. And remember that is chart about which different type of visualization we have to convey the information in different level, right? So let's say there's some question about how to choose the best way to visualize the data. Right. So remember the chart, right? In the lecture, right? So so let's say there's some question in the exam ask about which type of visualization that you should use to convey the information the best. So if you choose like using colors or like 3D pie chart, then that will be the answer. The exam, all right. So that is in the 5th of November, I guess. Paul, you need to check it. It should be the same for everyone. All right. So after data visualization, we have a lecture about probability and statistics, and that is just the basic one. It's just the basic one, just basic about probability and statistics, and we learned some interesting mathematical concepts in that lecture, right? So we learn about how to measure the center of the data and how to measure the range of data. And then we learn about the shape of data as well, right? So using for the center of data, we learn about the mean, different type of means, right? Three type means. And we learn about median, right? So, and we also learn about the range of data, which is we can use different concepts to measure different metric to measure the range of data. Can be interquartile range, can be fine numbers, right? Can be standard deviation. So I hope that you will go back and revise this. So in the exam, you may think that okay, everything there in the lecture, so you don't need to revise anything, right? The exam will in the exam the question is, you have multiple questions, so it's hard for you to just go back to the slides and learn during the exam, and that is very hard. Then you would lose your time. So it's better to revise this. So, and also we learn about the shape, right? Whether the shape of the data is normal distributed, like, or it's skew distributed, or like it's multi-mode, normal distribution, etc. So we learn all of them in the third lectures. And then we go to the clustering and classification, right, which is a lecture about applying, data mining techniques to, analyze data and to use the data to make decision. So clustering and classification are two different paradigms of this, of the data mining. So clustering will be applied for unstable data. So you should have just data without any associated class. You have just data about sale. You have data about let's say data about the weather, etc. Without any label. A classification is for label data where you apply that many technique to classify something. So label data means you should have label for data, like you have picture and you know that it's picture for someone, right? So that's label. Or you have a set of pictures, so you know that each picture is about animal, so each animal is in the picture. Or let's say you want to predict the stock market price, the price of the stock, right? Then you know that in the history that the stock price in every day. So we know the labels, what you need to predict. So that is classification. So you need to go back and revise them. So that is the first part of our unit, which is mainly about processing data, analyzing data. In order to process and analyze data, we need to have some form to store data, right? Some ways to store data. And the way we store data and we manage the data, we call it a data model. So there's different type of data model, right? It can be file system, can be relational data model, can be hierarchical, can be network, can be star, right? So you need to revise all of them. And then we learn about XML, which is the first form of data model, which is file system, but different from just arbitrary file system. XML is semi-structured files. Right? So you can store data by break down the whole chunk of data into a different part, and then you use tags to label, right, the meaning of the data. So remember, we have HTML1, HTML2, two lectures, right? So the interesting thing about XML is that it is extensible, which means that you can, make an extension from the XML. So you run XML and then you can expand it, right? You can add more tags. You can, delete tags, etc. So you can store very useful information in a file, and the computer can read the XML file very easily. Because why? Because all the information is tagged, right? It's put in between the opening tag and closing tag. One key important thing in XML is whether the XML is valid or well-formed, or both well-formed valid, right? So the XML is well-formed is straightforward, right? So you just follow the rule about how to write an XML, then the XML is well-formed. Let's say you opening tag and you close tag, you nest a tag inside another tag, then that can be seen as well-formed. And you name the tag correctly, then it's well-formed. But unwell-formed XML may be not valid, right? Valid means it should be understandable by a program. So in order, let's say I write XML, right, and I send the XML to another person, and the person can see that the XML is well formed because you written it, correctly. You're opening a tag and close a tag, etc. But these people, this person that I sent to, wouldn't understand the XML content because he doesn't know about the tag, the definition of the tag of the content, right? So in order to make the XML valid, you need to define a set of tags for each application, right? So let's say I'm working in finance, so I will write a definition of XML tag for finance. Suppose that I'm working on let's say stock markets, right? So then you write XML so that it consists of tags that just relevant for the stock market domain. So how to write the definition for the tag? We will use ETD, or we can use XML schema. Right? So you can write another file called ETD file to define all the tags that we can use to write a valid XML. Or because XML is a extensible language, so you can use XML to define the tag for XML file, so that to make the XML valid. So the latter case we call it XML schema. Right? So we need to revise all of them. All right, so that's the XML one. Remember that XML can be used in many applications, right? We can use to exchange data. You can use XML to store the configuration of a program in a computer, right? And after that, we go to a relational model. Right? So relational model is the one we model data in tables, and then we connect table together, you know, to model relationships with table as well. So we need to remember the steps, right? 4 steps of designing a relational model. First, you need to understand a scenario, right? You read through a scenario, break down a scenario into sentences, and then you design EI diagram. And then from the EI diagram, you make a relational schema. And then after making relational schema, you use SQL to create a database, a relational database. So 4 steps. So that's what you did with the assignments, right? And remember the convention we use in this unit as well. So to make sure that you draw the EI diagram or you write the relational schema correctly. And then we focus on to go to SQL, in which we focus on how to write the code to make a table, right? To manage a relational database. So SQL is a tool that you will use, in language you will use to interact with the relational database, right? So here you can create a table, right? You can delete a table, right? You can, so then you have table, you can use SQL to insert data, and then also delete data, update data, etc. And one important SQL statement, which is select clause, right? The select clause is one of the most important statement in SQL. So I need to revise carefully how to select data, right? You select the data, not only just like select everything, we need to make up condition during the selection as well. And maybe you need to sort the data. Maybe you need to select data not only from one table, but you need to select data from multiple tables. All right, so that is the SQL, and after that we learn about personal data and security. Why we are uploading our personal data on a daily basis nowadays, and how we can control it, how security is important, has important role in data science. And finally, we learn about how to apply data science to business, right? Okay, so that is also about the unit. Now we'll go to the exam. I think that's what you are expecting the most for today, right? So structure exam. Right? The exam will be in Milo. So when you go to Milo, we'll share the screen and this one, and you can see it as well. Right. So when you go to Milo, go to the quiz section as you did before. And here you will see the exam. So you have this one, KIT 102 ordinary exam is exam for everyone. And we have exam for lab student. I will change the name, KIT 102 ordinary exam lab student. So I will change the name later. But the ordinary exam is for everyone except lab students. So I will send email to lab students themselves. So if you don't have a lab NAP letter from a school, then you are not lab student, right? So just take the ordinary exam. Right, so go to the to Milo quiz session and you can find it. All right. So the exam will have three parts. First one, part A, we will have 25 questions. So that would they will be multiple choice question, right? And just one single answer. Remember that just one single answer. Don't answer more than you couldn't answer more than you know one answer. You only can choose one option to answer. So I put a radio boxes there. Just choose one question and 25 questions, similar as what you did in the quiz, first part of the quiz, not in the quiz, in the test, right? And each question will give you one mark. So 25 question will be 25 marks. And in part B, we have 5 questions. So that's about written response questions. So you write your answer there. And when you write the answer, you should explain the answer as well. So don't just like the question asks about like, let's say, what is the mean value of the data, then you just don't just write the mean value. You need to explain how to compute the mean value as well. Right? So part C has just one question, and it is 30 marks. So this could be a practical scenario. No, part C similar to quiz tutorial. No, I think part A, Justin, I think you mentioned part A, right? The part C can be like you were given a scenario and you need to design a database, or maybe you will be given a question like you have a scenario and then you need to propose a solution, right, to design a system, not database, but the system, right? So just use everything you learn in the lecture to design the system. The system it consists of like 3 parts. Part 1 is database. Part 2 is visualization. Part 3 is statistical analysis, something like that. So it's depend on the questions you have. Right, you answer this. Right. So clear about the structure of the exam. Any questions? No. Okay. So now we go to some sample question, right? Part A, in part A. Also, you have mock exam in Milo, right? No, you do not need to have VPN for the exam. So is a sample question for A. So which statement below is true? Yeah, that's correct. It's not regional database, right? So we know that XML is language. So XML can be used for configuration files that we learned in the lecture. And it's not a programming language, right? So maybe some people can use this as programming language, but not largely known as programming language. It's not popular for that task. And actually, XML is self-describing language because you can use SQL to describe an SQL. Right? Sorry, XML is a self-describing language because you can use XML to describe XML to many terms. So I slipped through my tongues. All right, so let's go to a second one. So what data mining technique is shown in the figure here? Anyone else? Yeah, so that is B, supervised learning, because that is what's the name of the technique here? It's KNN, right? K nearest label, right? So you go to the slides and you can see this picture, right? That's the KNN, that is the K nearest label. So that's E, B, supervised learning, because when you use a nearest label, we need to have a label of the data. So that is supervised learning, right? Okay, that one will require you to do some calculation. So what is the life factor of this graph? So let's take 5 minutes to do this. Don't just look at the lecture, right? So Flynn, how you compute this? So how you compute it? Yeah. In the lecture, there's a in the lecture is there's it's already I copied this from lecture, but just try to find a way to compute it. It's already in the lecture, but in different slides. Yeah, it's B, but how you can compute it? So I add the solution here, so you can see as well. Yeah, that's true. So, right. Yeah, so it's equal to side of effect. So in graph, divide the side of effect in data, it's increase. So see that, so the actual rate here, right? That's from 27 to 8, 27 to 20 actual rate increase from uh you know check the picture. This is quite, yes, from 18, increase from 18 to 27.5, right? And then so the increase is 53%. And for the graph, in the graph, right, the draw here is from 0.6 inch to 5.3 inches, right? Then the increase is 783%. Yeah, I think the formula. Yeah, so in the exam, don't use iPad in a park car. So don't do the exam in a park car with an iPad. Okay, so I think, let me check the formula from Thomas. I think that's correct. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So I put the answer up there, right? So uh, when you have that type question in the exam, remember that you need to compute it quickly, right? It's just only like maybe 1 or 2 minutes for one question like this. So that's why I say you need to revise. Otherwise, when when you have exam, you start learn this one, it will take a lot of time. Okay, move on. Next question. So, what is the result of the following SQL? So remember that that is the last sentence, right? In the last sentence, this line representing 27.5 miles per gallon in 1985 in is 55.3 inches long at the bottom. You can see the line at the bottom. Right, for that question, remember that now is a special data, right? Special value. So if you put like this, now like this, the SQL will treat it as a string, right? As a string, and h should be number, right? Should be a number. So it cannot be now as string. It cannot be string. So it's not actually now, right? We put now in the code like this, it's not actually now, it's a string in string now. And comparing like this will give you nothing, so it's empty table, right? So A. Yeah, because we will have some easy question and we will have some challenging question, right? But that problem you will have if you work in a yeah, if H is not string, then can be error data type. In general, but in general, we don't have in general, right? Now we don't have H as now in any case, so we don't have any H with now string like that. So it can be like this, 15, or can be like this, 14. That's okay. It can be, any form of number, cannot be in the form of string now. Okay, now go to part B. Can be some question like this. So you can, let's say, sum a question. You were given a DTD like this one. And let's say question asks you to run XML file that is valid for this DTD. What happened, June? No, this one is not hard, right? This one is not very hard. And for this one, you can have like 20 minutes to do this, right? It's not really hard. So where you have 2 hours, right? 2 hours. So the first one you can finish in 30 minutes. And there's some quick question and some long question. So this one you can finish in like 10 or 20 minutes. Right? It's up to you. So how to do this? It's quite straightforward, right? You go to the person, right? Person is the first element. So you write down person tag. Remember to close down, close the person tag. And then you go through the first element inside the person. You have Mr. or Mrs. Then you check it. Mr. and Mrs. can be empty. So just write Mr. and then close. And then you go to first name tag and middle name. You can ignore the middle name because the style here say it can be 0 or more, which means that you can ignore it. And then you have last name. It's very straightforward. So this answer. First person, Mr. First name, middle name, last name. See? So this one you can do it in 2 minutes. Right? This one you can do it in 2 minutes. Very, very straightforward. When you say this question is hard, it's quite surprised because that's very straightforward, right? When you go to the DTD, right? You go to DTD, and yes, you can use Miss instead of Mister, yeah, because you know that you have a shift slash here, a shift slash here, which means that you can use either meter or Mrs. Right? Use either of them. Yeah, for what something is okay, you can revise it. You can know where you can find information. Yeah, so in the exam you can quickly go back to the slide and get the information you want, but just don't forget everything. Yeah, hopefully. You see, from this question, you can write this one very quickly. Yeah, I think 01, yes, I think so. Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah. So you can remove the Mr. here and you remove the middle name here. That's fine. Cool. Now for this one, it's a schema. So given it's an email schema, you need to write yeah, cool. Yeah, Joey, that's correct. So for XML schema, the same question can be applied, right? Or you can sometimes you ask a busy reverse question like even XML, you need to write XML schema or you need to write DTD to make it valid, right? So can be in this way or can be another way, right? So you can be like given a DTD or XML schema, you need to write an XML that is valid. Sometimes you are given an XML, you need to write an XML schema or DTD to make the XML valid, right? So in the exam, you can either DTD or XML schema be used. So you be asked to use the XML schema, and it may be larger, right? Not so simple like this. It will be larger. So revise them carefully. Actually, revise everything carefully because not just only this, maybe some other question related to this as well. All right. So now, any question about this one before we go to next one? Yeah, you're right. Look, I think it's the same, right? I think it's the same. Is this? No, unfortunately, I didn't make the answer for this, but I think we can write it down easily. Right, so you can have annotation here, just ignore it, right? Annotation. Ching Chun. Are you? No, we don't have any tutorial. We finish all of them. Yeah, we do. Guys, you forgot something. We have three private exams, right? Exams in 2018, 2017, 2018, and 2019. They all there, and you also have a mock exam. Yeah. Actually, now I already have this. Yeah. So I was spammed by emails every day about assignments and everything, like 20 questions a day. So I asked like myself, like, why didn't you ask me before now? Yeah, now it's the end of the semester, and then it's a lot of questions, but that's fine. I try to answer all of them. So either you email me or you put into discussion forum. Right? I try to answer all of them as soon as possible. Right. So for this one, the answer should be the same. Yeah, the answer should be the same. So remember that you see up there, you see annotation, right? for this question, you see annotation. To ignore the annotation. Why? Because annotation is the part of the the XML that only for the reader to use. Right? So it doesn't have anything to do with the XML document. So ignore the annotation because that's just for commenting, and then just focus on the complex type here, and it's the same as the DTD. So the answer will be the same. Thing is, no, not be the same. Answer will be similar, right? So you have person, then you write a person, a given name, person, family name, and then person. It's just straightforward. Right. Okay, now go to this one. So you were given like a table, and then you were asked about the result of SQL. You need to. Sometimes you will be asked to run SQL as well. Instead. Right? So let's say for the first SQL, what's the result you have? Select asterisk from SQL name like. Then you have a 3 underscore. What does it mean? So can anyone translate the first SQL to English? Okay, time is running fast. So I will answer this for you. So the first one, select asterisk from cat when name like 3 underscore, which means that you select a cat whose name has 3 characters. So the answer here will be the one with 3 characters in the name. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's Max. Yeah, cool. Okay, we have a cat professor here, so you know exactly the name of the cat. Cool. Okay, now we go to the second one. Select name from cat where cat ID equal h plus 1. A little bit tricky, right? A little bit, a little tricky question here. So the meaning of this question is select here is that you will select the. See. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So the ID is a cat that have the h plus 1 equal to the ID, right? So yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 6 and 5. Yeah, the ID is 6 and the h is 5. Right. You are very quick. Yeah, that's correct, Joey. Okay, and the last one. Where is the last one? Yeah, what's the meaning of the last one? What's the meaning of the last one? Yeah, what is the meaning of the last one? Not second letter. Not second letter. Remember the. Yeah, that's true. Count the number of the cats whose name ends in Y. That's true. Yeah, Thomas and Joey. That correct. Yeah, cool. Yes, seem not very tricky to you, right? So yeah, I guess because we just learned SQL recently, and we spent a lot of time doing assignments, right? That's why everyone understand SQL very 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 much. Probably that because that's in the exam we need to ask all kind of questions, not just XML. Right. Okay, so in part C, we have like a scenario like this. So let's say a real estate company wants to set up a system such as sales and profits. You will provide a design of this system, which should include what is should store, how to store data, what techniques you will use. So in this for this type of question, I suggest you use everything you learn, like revise everything, and you should have a list of what you have learned, like in lecture 1 what you learn in there, maybe 5 or 6 bullet points for that lecture 1, also for lecture 2 what you learn in there, some summarization like 5 or 6 bullet points for the content of the lecture 2 and so on, right? So when you have such type question, you can find, okay, the techniques, the content, solution for the question here to be in some part of the lectures. Right? So for example, here we can see that first question, right? So here's just an example answer. So what data should be stored? So you will store data about like properties details, right? Because the real estate company, they will have information about properties, right? So type, price, location, etc. So you can put more. So you can also store the visual data about properties such as the recently taken photos. So imagine that you are in a real scenario, like what you are doing with the real estate.au.com, right? So this website, you can see the price and information about the property, and also images about the property as well. Put it there. And how to store data, and then you see that in order to store data, right, you go back to the lecture you learned. So remember that that like you can use SQL, or you can use XML to store some data. You can also use relational database to store data. So if you answer like I will use data warehouse, right, then it's too general. It's hard. It's not specific, right? So it need to be specific, like which specific technique you will use, right? So I will use like star models, or I will use a network model to store the data because of that. Or I will use file system to store data. I will use XML to store data. Right? It's up to you, but you need to specify. Right? So don't answer like I would use Amazon to store our data. All right, so that's too general. All right, so here we say like you MySQL to store property details, and you will use a file system to store photos. File system like computer system, right? Okay, so next one is what techniques you will use to show information about the sales manager so that you can help them to make strategic decisions. So here I can say like you can use visualization, and you explain which one. You will use if you go to more specific answers you provide, more mark you will have, right? So let's say you use dashboard design because it can show a different type of information and their relationship information and relationship information as well, etc. Right. So you can also in this policy, remember you have one question only, but it can be a scenario like I just a few seconds ago, and we can also have a scenario like this, but you need to design a relational database. Right? So that is in the this slide I put into Milo, so you can So you can see that. So I will show you how to do this. All right, just how to do this. So when you can draw the diagram, and you can put into upload it, or you can paste the picture into answer box. So should we go to the exam and try? Go to the mock exam. Okay, I choose mock exam, right? Yeah. Right. So here you can upload file, which is your design, like your diagram design or anything, or you can paste, right? You can copy and paste the pictures into the question here into the answer box here. All right. Okay, so any questions? No, we don't have sub quiz or anything like this. So one quiz is okay. Don't worry, Hans. Just one of them, right? So you will be fine. Don't worry, Thomas. You worry, Josh. Oh, Jing, we finished all tutorial 2 weeks ago. Jing Chun. We finished all tutorial 2 weeks ago. Don't need to worry, guys. You did a good job. I saw your mark this semester, and you did a very good job. So I believe that you would exam very well. Don't worry. Just focus. Yeah, but not much. So I think the content for week 11 and 12 will be very small in the exam. Just 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, but it will help you to do the part 3. Yeah, I think it's in the 5th of November. But you need to check it. 5th of November, but you need to check it. Brian. How to check it? E-students. Okay, e-students. Yeah, you can, if you draw it by hand, you can take a picture of it and you just paste into the answer box. Right? You take a picture of the diagram and put in answer box. Yeah. All right. So if you don't have any questions, so exam times fixer. Oh, Hans, yeah, I saw the email. I haven't got the replies from the I sent yeah, sorry about that. I don't know, but they didn't get back to me. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, so uh, let me see if I can do anything, like give you more times and like, yes, yeah, I don't know. It's quite hard. Yeah, try to get up early a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, very hardworking, Paul. Very hardworking. I believe that hard working will be paid off. So at the end, you'll be fine. All right, guys. So yeah, we're leaving. Cheers, Joey. Good luck with the exams. If you have any questions, just let me know. Right, I will try to answer all of them. You can always tune. Are you new to the unit? Sorry. Actually, we have all we store all the recorded all the video the lectures and in Milo, so you can revise it all the time anytime you want. If you have any question using exam, I'll send you my phone. I think you want to see my phone as well. Phone number, so you can call me or you can go to Zoom and you can talk to me, so we can solve the problem. So yeah, so try to arrange your exam carefully, like internet connection, everything. Assignment. Wow, assignment is going to due very soon. Assignment, it's just the end of this week, I guess. Or you should be quickly, Xavier. Okay. Yeah, I suggested that. When I release this the assignment description, I tell you that you should do alongside with the tutorial, because tutorial teach you about SQL, and that is the one that in the assignment. Okay, good luck, Xavier. Let me know if you have any issue, right? Okay, guys. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Bye. Thank you for being in the class.